We're going to shed light on the local organizations helping with recovery efforts in Florida from this system.
And we're headed back to the farm as we talk about the best fruits you can grow this fall season.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
But first, drone footage showing the flooding over the Tampa area the morning after Milton made landfall last night. You can also see damage left behind in the city as well. Lots of images coming in from that area. Tania, it's amazing just how quickly this system reminded me of Milton. It wasn't quite as powerful at landfall, but it just reminded me of Wilma, just raced across Florida, and now it's out over the Atlantic.
I know, it was a really fast system, but it definitely made a punch. It definitely came in with a punch and has devastated so many areas in the Florida area.
You know, all these different tropical systems, it's like when we say each snowflake is different, right? It's not the same.
They're
each
never
tropical
the same.
system
They're going to bring
is
different things. Like this one
yeah.
produced a lot of tornadoes.
Exactly.
And then, you know, you have other systems that are more devastating as far as rainfall amounts and winds.
Yeah, we saw that around the Tampa area. Well, listen,
Yeah.
Milton's moving away right now. Let's go to the next big thing for us. And of course, we're still very dry across our area. And there's a chance tonight, we've got the camera pointed to the north. I don't know if we'll be able to see with all the city lights, but we could see another faint aurora this evening. There's a lot of geomagnetic storm activity going on. And the Space Weather Prediction Center, yes, there is a NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center. They keep a close watch on these geomagnetic storms. And they're saying that it's possible it may go to a level 5, and it's only a scale of 1 to 5. So if that happens, we could certainly see the northern lights across Alabama tonight, and it's just kind of a wait and see kind of thing at this point. But if we start to receive those reports, and we'll talk more about the northern lights forecast here coming up. We're going to give you the weather extra and talk about sky watching as well. But there's the satellite image from space, and now the tropical system Milton is extratropical and moving away from the country tonight. The temperatures take another big tumble down into the low 50s out there overnight. The sky stays crystal clear with 10 o'clock temperature around 63, and you can see that temperature dropping off down into the 50s there through 2 o'clock in the morning. Low temperatures out the door tomorrow. We're seeing 49 around Coleman, 51 around Aniana. We did have a few upper 40s on the map earlier today, but with it being so dry, we've been seeing big fluctuations in those temperatures, so that's going to continue here tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll have nice cool starts during the morning. Saturday morning, a great morning. Get out there, do a little yard work early in the day, and it looks like the afternoon we'll see the temperatures back into the mid-80s. But a cold front's coming next week. That's going to be one of the next big things we'll talk about, and could see some 30s and some of the coldest air since April arriving around the middle of next week. But check out some flooding video that we have right now. This is more of the flooding that happened. This is in Daytona from Milton, so even on the East Coast, this is where crews, they came to rescue people from the high water. The tornadoes, actually, we saw a lot of that damage along the east coast of Florida, but this is in South Daytona, so impacts all across the state, not just Tampa. And in Lee County, you can see down power lines and water in the roadway as onlookers take a look at the damage left. And you can see power poles there toppled, and looks like, Tania, we still have several, and it's going to take a little while to get that power fully restored, but thousands without power at this time.
Yeah, Wes, and as we continue to take a look at those impacts out of Florida, Brian Abel is now in Orlando with the latest.
Here in Orlando, utility workers are trying to get infrastructure back up and running across the state. That is going to be a long effort because of the significance of the damage from Hurricane Milton. Hurricane Milton making landfall near Siesta Key Wednesday night as a major Category 3 storm with catastrophic force.
I've lived here all my life. I've never seen anything like this.
A once-in-a-thousand-year rain event transforming streets into rushing rivers.
Just with the hurricane and the water, it just kept rising, and I've been here 14 years and I've never seen it get this high.
Gusting winds, downing trees, blowing transformers, and leaving millions in the dark.
We have widespread power outages, cellular outages throughout the city. We have trees down, debris in the streets.
The roof of Tropicana Field, home to the Tampa Bay Rays, ripped open. The storm spawning dozens of tornadoes, including several in Port St. Lucie County, which damaged homes and which officials say proved deadly.
Their whole homes with them inside were lifted up, moved, destroyed. I mean, everything in this hurricane's or this tornado's path is gone.
Search and rescue operations are underway across the impacted areas.
These aren't people who didn't heed the warning. These are individuals in areas where we've never seen flooding. Never seen flooding.
As Milton moves out into the Atlantic, officials now preparing to assess the damage. Grateful the monster storm wasn't worse.
What we can say is the storm was significant, but thankfully this was not the worst case scenario.
And Governor DeSantis saying more than 30 search and rescue aircraft were in the air today, as well as more than 100 missions on the ground. More than 20 search and rescue teams were pre-staged as we now begin the slow and very early recovery from Hurricane Milton. In Orlando, I'm Brian Abel reporting.
And at least 135 people have been rescued from an assisted living facility in Tampa, Florida, in the wake of Hurricane Milton. According to police, first responders found residents in water up to their waists at the Great American Assisted Living Facility this morning. The facility was not in a storm surge evacuation zone and was not flooded by storm surge. The water was flash flooding from heavy rainfall. One resident said the water reached his knees and told reporters some residents spent much of the night sitting in water. And local Red Cross volunteers from our state also heeding to help out those impacted by Milton after continuing to help victims from Hurricane Helene. This is a picture showing those volunteers in Cedar Key. They've been there for about 2 weeks helping people recover from Hurricane Helene, and now they'll be traveling south to help those who have been impacted by Hurricane Milton. And they also will be making some relief efforts. They'll be delivering hot meals and supplies, flashlights, tarps, and everything in between. The Red Cross, one of many organizations helping our neighbors in Florida get back on their feet.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of loss of property, there's loss of belongings, and people don't have a safe place to stay. And then we are feeding in neighborhoods where you're going to have those power outages for weeks. We're still feeding in neighborhoods from Helene. So Milton will be the same, and we'll be out there distributing relief supplies.
And something you may not think about, some Red Cross volunteers are licensed counselors who provide mental help and emotional support. Of course, they can't do all of this without your help. We'll post a link about the role you can play in disaster relief on the WBRC News app.
Well, in 30 seconds, we take a look at your upcoming forecast and tell you how you can prepare your fall fruit gardens. We'll be right back.
Alrighty, everyone, it is time for our weather bump. Here's a look at the next 12 hours. We have temperatures in the 60s throughout this evening. Overnight, though, down in the 50s as we start off your Friday morning. Friday's honestly going to be another beautiful day. We'll see afternoon highs in the low 80s, another day full of sunshine and a big blue sky. For the weekend, looking great, but the next big thing that we're talking about is colder temperatures next week. Just how much colder, though, Chief Meteorologist Wes White will show you coming up in just a couple of minutes.
And you know, the changing temperatures and as the daylight changes certainly has an impact on the fall colors. But when can we start to see those fall colors really starting to show off across our area? Let's check in now with meteorologist Lauren Linehan.
Well, we're getting into the heart of October, so you're probably wondering when you can see some of those beautiful fall colors, even though we're getting those hints of fall now in the forecast. It maybe doesn't feel completely like it when that sun is out and about in the afternoon, but let's look at when we could see those peak fall colors, because right now, not super impressive just yet. But this is a map showing the peak time for the fall colors to be most vibrant across the U.S. And you can see down in Alabama, it actually occurs for us in early November typically. So you can kind of can notice that transition in late October, but it's really early November that here down further to the south, we begin to see those most vibrant colors. So let's kind of look at it week by week here. I honestly think this forecast, which is courtesy of SmokyMountains.com, it may be a little ahead of schedule, but can just give us a general idea. We can get an idea of when those more vibrant colors. So this is ranging from minimal color to past peak. Here we are tomorrow, October 11th, still showing minimal patchy color at best across our area. But then we go forward in time. Here we are next week, seeing some improvements, maybe some more partial colors. And then the last week of the month, here we are October 25th, the last full week of October. We're getting a little closer to that peak as we get into November. And then you see the colors begin to become more vibrant. It's really the first, second week of October that we are at those peak colors. And then once we get past the first week, it's really getting closer to Thanksgiving that we get past the peak of those more beautiful colors, and then eventually it looks a little bit more dreary as we go into winter. So maybe reading maps isn't your thing. Let's break it down for you week by week. So still going to be patchy minimal color right now, but then next week still patchy. Eventually though, in 2 weeks as we get closer to the end of October, more of those partial beautiful colors beginning to come out, and then early November is when we will get near or at peak. So it'll be here soon. And then we've been talking about next week. We've got a cold front on the way. This is going to be a pretty potent cold front. So what is that pumpkin spice level? Well, I think we could very well be in spooky season activated territory. So if you haven't treated yourself to a pumpkin spice latte yet this season, next week is going to be the day to do it, especially as we get into Wednesday. I think Wednesday could end up being our coolest day, starting off the morning in the 40s, a first alert for that. And then you see, as we get into the afternoon hours, highs may only stay in the 60s. So really looking forward to that fall cold front. And y'all know the drill. Once we begin to see more of those beautiful fall colors in the forecast, make sure you send in your photos on the WBRC First Alert weather app.
All right, and now we head out to Jones Valley Teaching Farm, where meteorologist Megan Thomas teaches us how to prepare that fall fruit.
We're back at Jones Valley Teaching Farm, and I'm here with my friend Farmer Jess, and we are talking about what kind of fruit trees you can plant during the fall. And we're standing in front of some version of an apple tree, but I wanted you to talk to me a little bit more about what people should be doing this time of year.
Yeah, so kind of late fall, early winter is a great time to plant fruit trees while everything's kind of dormant and you have a little bit more free time garden-wise. And so some really good fruit varieties that grow really well in the south are persimmons. Peaches do really well here. Muscadines are a native grape that does extremely well in our climates. Figs are good. Elderberries, blackberries, plums are great. And even you can even do apples, and that's what we're the tree that we're in front of right now.
And so apple trees that typically you think of, you know, a big orchard and the fall festivals and stuff like that. What kind of apple tree is this, and it thrives during this time of year, this climate?
Yeah, so apples are generally, a lot of the varieties grow better in northern climates. So when you're planting apples in the south, you have to be really picky about the varieties that you choose, and you want to choose ones that do really good in the south. So this is a Yates apple tree, and you can see the apples are a lot smaller than we're used to, and even the texture is different. A lot of the apples that grow really well in the south are maybe better for like making ciders than eating fresh, but it is possible. You just have to be very careful about which varieties you choose.
And still ahead, we continue to talk about the cold front for next week. Plus, we're taking you to weather in the classroom. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. And you know what? We're talking about the northern lights, but how about these lights here from Bluff Park Diner looking to the north there? Lovely glow this evening here at sunset time. But you can see as we look at the weather forecast, it's very dry at the moment. Live look from Bluff Park. Let's go to the next 24 hours, and temperatures overnight will be tumbling down into the low 50s and even upper 40s there early in the day. 6 o'clock in the morning showing 49 around Gadsden, 52 around Jasper. So a chilly start early on. Afternoon readings there in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees during the afternoon. Those afternoon temperatures will trend warmer this weekend. For Saturday and Sunday, we'll have dry weather, lots of sunshine. Cold fronts coming next week. This will arrive late Monday and into Tuesday, and that's going to bring a big drop in those temperatures. We're still expecting some 30s on the map for parts of the area. This even shows 39 at Birmingham, so we may need to trend even a little bit lower. Went with 42 on average there, and we might actually get a couple of showers early Tuesday morning. There is a small chance for a few showers there early on Tuesday, but again, by Wednesday it's dry. It's a cold start early on, but we could see the first frost threat for North Alabama. First alert for that change. That's the next big thing for us. Weather should be perfect. It's certainly going to feel like some football weather this weekend. UAB is actually at Army, so if you are traveling there, West Point looks like a kickoff of 67 degrees, but how about that sideline forecast? 70, Tuscaloosa around 74 at kickoff time. And we have the Oak Grove Fall Festival that's happening on Saturday. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan will be there in the First Alert Storm Tracker, so be sure to say hello to Lauren. She'll be out there by midday. We're looking at plenty of sunshine. Should be some lovely weather in that 10-day forecast. We're talking about dry conditions for the most part. Looks like through Tuesday we are going to have a 20% chance for a shower, a cold front, and a first alert there for that big drop in temperatures, 42 into early Wednesday morning. And then we're going to be talking about temperatures right around upper 30s in parts of the area to the north there for Tuesday and into Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Highs in the upper 70s, and it looks like dry conditions right on into that following weekend as we'll talk more about beyond the 7-day here coming up, but it looks like maybe around the 21st. I marked it on the forecast. We might see a few showers, but not a lot of rain. October is typically our driest month of the year. But one thing we've been talking about is the chance to see the northern lights tonight. And what's going on? We have another geomagnetic storm, and what happens, you have these eruptions on the sun. They're called coronal mass ejections. They send all this, the magnetosphere, all this energy towards the earth, and it interacts with the earth's magnetosphere, and it sets off the aurora borealis. And we often at times talk about near the poles seeing the northern lights, but it's been quite the occasion this summer for us, even as far south as Alabama. We're seeing a solar cycle with some enhanced solar activity, and that's why we've been able to see the aurora so many times, it seems like, this year in particular. But across Alabama on the horizon overnight tonight, we're in a G4, level 4 out of 5 geomagnetic storm happening. So there is a chance that you could see this tonight. The peak levels look to happen here after 7 o'clock and through the evening. Now, there's not a specific set time for this to happen. That's the thing. There's kind of a viewing window, and we have to observe during those times. But if this does go to a level 5, that would increase the chance of this being viewable tonight. That's what happened in May when we had all the photos and the lovely pictures around the state of Alabama. So we just got to kind of watch and see here. But of course, if we start to receive those reports, we'll pass it along on the WBRC First Alert Weather app. So make sure you have that on your mobile device. And also on the First Alert Weather app, talking about the long-range forecast. I know Tania, you've been like, I want to see the northern lights. I hope to see the northern lights.
Me too. If it can happen throughout the weekend, maybe one time just for me.
We keep missing it. We get all the photos, and we're here in the studio and go outside and look, which of course is kind of difficult with all the lights.
I know. Anyways, hopefully one day I'll be able to catch it. If not here, I'm traveling somewhere, okay? Well, speaking of traveling somewhere, if you're going across the nation really anytime soon, you can expect more above average temperatures for majority of the U.S., especially the Midwest down to Texas, Albuquerque, New Mexico included in those warmer temperatures as we look about 6 to 10 days out from now, October 16th through the 20th. But as we look closer to home, well, we're going to be seeing more below average temperatures, and that includes really almost all of Alabama, and that's why we have these cold fronts moving through, dropping our temperatures down into the upper 30s, if not low 40s next week. And notice that Florida could be seeing below average temperatures, also the East Coast up to the Carolinas. Here's a look at that precipitation outlook, though. Areas in green are expecting more above above average or above normal precipitation. Areas in the brown, right around, really below normal. And then areas that you don't see shaded are more normal or average around this time of year. So October 16th through October 20th, seeing more rainfall for the Pacific Northwest, but drier for us here, really across our eastern states and the southeast, Alabama included. So a dry month it will likely be. But check this out. Meteorologist Megan Thomas had the chance to visit Miss Jones' second grade class at Meadview Elementary School in Alabaster. Be sure, teachers, if you want a member of the First Alert Weather team to visit your classroom, visit Weather in the Classroom on WBRC.com. How cute. And you can fill out the form. Let me finish this. We would love to meet our junior weather watchers like these sweetie pies right here. Oh, we love to see it. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a final check of your weather, and we're going to look at some of your lovely weather photos. That's after the break.
All right, some lovely sunset photos and weather pictures from our First Alert Weather app. And this comes from Michelle Olson. And thank you, Michelle, for this lovely sunset. We've had some gorgeous weather around here.
And Jacelyn, oh, I like your name. This is a foggy morning picture out in Aniana.
That needs to go in, well, both those photos need to go in frame.
This one too, though.
Yeah.
What? Dawn, morning sunrise, absolutely beautiful.
DNS Farm sunset on Smith Lake. And we've got that photo. Wow.
Wow.
You know, there's something about the sky this time of year. You know, it's just got the
showing
October
out,
glow.
Literally
right?
every day.
Yeah.
You can't miss it. Just take a picture of the sky every day and send it in to us, okay? Here's another one from Chad and Heather. Debbie Alexander. This is, I believe, her son and daughter-in-law, or her daughter and son-in-law, one way or the other. But this is a photo from their backyard.
Wow, look at the valley fog
in
out
Kimberly, Alabama. Like, like what? That is such a beautiful picture.
Lovely photos. Hey, that's why we call it Alabama the Beautiful, right? And we've got some more beautiful weather on the way. Of course, tonight, a chance that we might see the northern lights. We'll be watching.
Yes, here are quick viewing tips. Number one, best time to see it, 7 p.m. until 4 a.m. Avoid light pollution and not visible with the naked eye. So try to use your phone.
All right, we'll see you back here at 9.